That chain cost me about 40,000.
Young man, get up here quick. Young man, get up here quick. Come on. Young man, get up here quick. You, up, quick. Right here. Fire on you.
Do people actually believe this is real? Like, seriously? Like, people actually believe this is real? And also, I also want to understand, like, say the people that are in the crowd, are they, like, told to do that? Are they people that already been briefed on what's going to go on? Or are they just normal people that are just going with the flow? I would like to understand that as well. It's interesting.
Fire on you! Rise up! Yes! Come on! Yes! Come on!
Hey! My house is almost 25,000 square feet.
Yeah.
You can get lost in it. I had to get some speakers in there so I can find my wife.
Like you just saw Polo G cash out on a $40,000 chain. There's this gospel that I like to call the gospel of the bling bling.
You think Jesus Christ would roll around in a Rolls Royce?
I think he would have.
Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey.
Right. This is the gospel in which the rappers and the preachers aren't that much different, right? Just how Polo G, a rapper, is cashing out on this $115,000 chain.
It costed me about like $115,000.
Just as the rappers are cashing out on their iced out diamond chain, so are the preachers, where if you step into their world of bling, you are met with the finest leather seats of their Rolls Royces, their deposits of elegant multi-million-dollar jets, them gifting status Birkin bags to their members of their church, and of course their Gucci Italian shoes. And this is not talking of the fake miracles, of course. If you've never seen a pastor resurrect a man, well, today is your lucky day.
What am I watching? Is he meant to be dead already? He's meant to be dead already. And Superman over here is bringing him back to life.
Man is commanding life.
Rise up! Yes! Come on! Yes! Come on!
With that being said, let's first begin this video with this.
My first house cost $14,700. I'm giving you a chance to write your check up. $14,700. My second house cost $81,900, and this watch cost more than that.
Pastors flexing. Before we get into these pastors flexing, I receive many comments asking me where I get my music from. I use Epidemic Sounds, and their music selection is amazing, right? Every sound, every music you've heard.
Yeah, for you, Tunde. Get your bag, bro. Get your bag. Get your bag.
Right,
brother.
For
me, though.
This is the private jet of a pastor. The private jet of a megachurch pastor that goes by the name of Kenneth Copeland.
How are you, sir? We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons.
You see there, them preachers spending all that money, just fat cats riding around. No, we're not. We're in business to do. Listen,
I'll be totally honest with you, bro. His face doesn't even look real, bro. It looks like when he goes home, you know, and he just goes home and takes off his face, bro, and chills. With no face, bro. Honestly, that's what it looks like. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I could scratch my flying itch with my little single engine open cockpit airplane.
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
When I begin to think in the world of why a pastor might need a private jet, I couldn't even begin to think of an answer.
Believe that human beings are demons.
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Hey! He looks like he's about to hit her with a 1-2, boom, boom, uppercut, then give her a little arm bar. I'm not even joking. Look. Damn. Look at that face, bro. It looks like he's about to just melt off. Like, damn. Look at that. And look how he switches so quickly as well. Look at the smile coming. Look at the
We
smile.
wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
When I began to think in the world of why a pastor might need a private jet, I couldn't even begin to think of an answer. Is this jet really to go and preach the word of God like Kenneth Copeland says? Or is this jet truly another manifestation of his extravagant purchases? And just like this jet, Kenneth Copeland stands as one of the wealthiest pastors in the US. He boasts a valuable net worth of $760 million. His wife also preaches, and while many of their congregation may reside in average apartments or live in modest condos, Kenneth and his wife live in this enormous parcel of land right inside their $7 million mansion home, alongside its own tennis court, its multiple garages, and even their very own boat docks. And of course, right, those are all accompanied by their own jumbo jet parked beside their own exclusive airstrip. How did a pastor amass this amount of wealth, right? Where does all this wealth come from? When Kenneth would explain why he needed this level of extravagant purchases, he would respond,
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
and right in that clip was Kenneth with his preacher friend, Jesse Duplantis, as they defended their luxury purchases of houses, mansions, and cars. Is this something that's moral? His preacher friend...
Look, even if you caught them slipping, right? Even if you caught them, you say, why do you have the mansion? Why do you have the jet? Blah, blah, blah. They're never going to say, well, I shouldn't have this. Never. They're always going to say they deserve this, they've worked hard for this. God wouldn't want me to be in a normal house or in a tube full of demons. That's what they're going to say, obviously. They're going to defend their toys, let's say.
Jesse Duplantis is also another televangelist, and even his wealth is beyond our measures.
One of my chandeliers costs more than most people's house. I got 22 chandeliers in the house.
He lives in a ginormous mansion, zooms around in fancy cars, and he owns 3 private jets. And just like, Creflo Dollar, the preacher, which we'll talk about in just a little bit, where he said commercial airlines don't match his VIP status.
In order for me to do what I've been called to do, the airlines, they don't fly my schedule.
Jesse's collections of luxurious items alone would make James Bond jealous.
Got an intercontinental plane!
Here he is, accompanied by his wife, as they gracefully exit their 2019 Chrysler, entering into their Falcon 7X jet that's valued at, guess what, $54 million.
I really believe that if Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey.
Once again, is this something that's morally right? While at a book signing event, an Inside Edition interviewer would question Jesse about his lavish belongings. But in a blink of an eye, this interviewer would be escorted out by Jesse's security team.
Why do you need a $54 million private jet?
We're not doing any kind of interviews right now. I'm in the book.
I just like to know why you need a keep your hands off me. Why are you people touching me like this?
Because you need to...
Let go of me.
Add some ice into this vanilla cake, right? In front of his church, he'd go on to joke about this.
She's gone. Boom. I can hear her hollering. And I came back and said, what'd you do with her? He said, I made her outside edition.
If you were to begin to think of why a pastor might need jets, big houses, and luxury cars, right? What could the reasons be? Is it greed? Could greed be the reason why Mr. Jesse Duplantis bragged about his 22 chandeliers?
My chandeliers cost more than most people's house. I got 22 chandeliers in the house.
What are these preachers' true intentions? When you look at the Bible itself, it says for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. But these preachers, does it not appear that they love money more than they love God? Because when you hear a pastor, someone that's supposed to be a man of God, saying things like this.
I was on television. He said, I heard you was a millionaire. I said, that's not right. That's not true. He said, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. Multi. Now add that to it and you'll be all right. Oh, he couldn't handle that. He liked to have had a fit. And I said, you mess with me, I'll buy this station and I'll fire you.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't like that, did he? You know, that was a little fleshy, but it felt good.
Does this not make you question the true motives of some of these pastors? You know, what about their congregation? You know, what about these pastors' church members? Are they living this lavish? The woman who rode the bus. Let's take a look at World Changers Church, the towering temple sitting in the city of Bronx, owned by the affluent pastor Creflo Dollar. On Sunday mornings, Creflo could choose any of his cars to arrive at the church. It could be his sleek Rolls-Royce Phantom, his Hummer. And because the lackluster airlines don't fly Creflo's exclusive VIP schedule, he could even choose to cruise on his private jet.
In which way is this jet important for your ministry?
Well, in order for me to do what I've been called to do, the airlines, they don't fly my schedule.
As Creflo Dollar sits comfortably on his plush leather Rolls-Royce seats on his way to his church, there's Mary, a woman who worships at his church. She's walking towards a bus stop to catch the bus. And funny enough, Mary sees no issue with this, right? In fact, she wholeheartedly supports Creflo's purchases.
Most definitely, most definitely. We support our pastor. That's what we're here for.
I don't have a problem with it. I think the kingdom of heaven should be rich.
Has Mary fallen for the lies of the prosperity gospel? You know, as she's juggling bus tickets and experiencing bumps and sudden stops, her pastor is lounging comfortably in his private jet, gliding through the air like he's a swan on the lake. And this was when it came to me that Mary might be the product of the prosperity gospel. Imagine strongly yearning for something, like a car or even a cure for a sick loved one. We all have had such heartfelt wishes, right? And then we begin to look for a place that can promise these wishes. This place becomes the church. We often start looking at the church as this place of serenity. You know, everyone is offering their hearts and devotion, and the atmosphere is filled with a sense of unity. And then a pastor comes out of nowhere, demanding money to come out of thin air. Then the atmosphere changes.
My sister, I know you've been reading the Bible.
Is it for you to stand in front of a church and demand money to come to you?
But God says it's time for us to tell that money, you don't belong to the wicked, you belong to us. And I want you to get in the right place. Money coming to me now.
Or is it to have your congregation walk up?
Woo! Put some money, put some anointing on this money. You put some.
No. Oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. There's no way. Bro, skiing through the money. Look at me, some money. Give me some money. Damn. What? Bro's literally jet skiing through the money. And they're just coming and dropping it and laughing.
Up here, you put prosper.
Drop money at the altar just so you can walk on it. Is it to tell the church that your house is so big that you can get lost in it?
Lord, I want a 2-story house. What is that? My house is almost 25,000 square feet. You can get lost in it. I had to get some speakers in there so I can find my wife.
Or is it to believe God for a $65 million jet?
If I want to believe God for a $65 million plane, you cannot stop me. You cannot stop me from dreaming. They discover life on Mars. If you think a $65 million plane was too much, if they discover that there's life on Mars, they gonna need to hear the gospel, and I'm gonna have to believe God for $1 billion space shuttle because we got to preach the gospel.
Money coming to me now. Money coming to me.
Doesn't it sound like they're praying to money? Money cometh to me now. Aren't you meant to be asking God, bless me with money, not telling money to come to you?
are the teachings of the prosperity gospel. A gospel often far from the truth, right? A gospel that tells you that if you follow God, you can get everything you want. You know, that money you wanted, you can have it. That sick relative you wanted, they will be cured. And the thing about this gospel is that many have fallen for it. You know, Mary might want to stop riding the bus someday. She may want a car, but if she wants that car, she needs to have faith and believe that, believe that she will get it. Give money and she'll get it. But as Mary is listening to these pastors, right, she'd be surprised to hear that their teachings are all flawed.
Hallelujah! Hey! Your bills are paid!
First, their teaching invites you to look at God as some type of genie in a bottle. It invites you to look at God as Santa Claus, right? These charlatans have turned the gospel into a gospel of work, inviting you to look at God as this, Father Christmas that gives you money, also corrupting the real biblical idea or the concept of tithing, which is when you give money to support the church. And like you just saw, these preachers aren't just using these tithe money to support the church. Many of them are using it to support themselves, right? They use this money to support their carnal desires, right? And the sad thing about this is that their congregations never stop giving them money. They are filling their pockets to the brim. The business of the church. Upon tithing a church, people should know the logistics and the business aspect of the church. First, tithing is a real biblical aspect. As a Christian, 10% of my income is to be given to my local church. This is so that the lights could continue running and so that the rent could be paid. An operation.
Imagine you earn, let's say you're a high earner, you're earning 100k, 110k a year. 10% of your money goes to the church. And most of the time you don't even know where that money is actually going into. You're just saying it's for the better but good, it's for the good of the church.
Could continue running effective and smoothly. But when a church is given money in the form of a tithe, this chunk of money is tax-free. Say you work a legal job, right? Tax may be taken from your paycheck. But imagine a church receives $1 million in tithes. That $1 million is exempt from being ever taxed. This same laws apply for the UK, Canada, India, and the countries like South Africa where churches aren't taxed. Then the countries which tax their churches are mostly in Europe. Churches in Denmark, Austria, Finland, Sweden, Croatia, Iceland, Switzerland, Chile, Bolivia, and Ecuador are all subject to taxation. Then there's the churches in Argentina and Peru, for example, who are given money by their own states just to keep everything running. These churches in these countries are given money just so they can cover the salaries of their popes, their priests, and their bishops, and people that are all high church officials. And churches aren't taxed because they're considered non-profit organizations. This is the same reason why you see people, rich people, make their own non-profit organizations. Organizations like Bill Gates and Melinda Foundations, Kellogg's Foundations, even Mr. Beast Philanthropy, and Robert F. Smith, the man who paid off the entire debt of students at Morehouse College that one time going viral for, which I wish I was a part of them. And even though he helped many people, that money would be a big tax write-off for him, just so his taxes could be lower. Now that we've covered this, right, every envelope you see in this next chapter would all be untaxed. Kenneth Copeland's money room. In this preacher's mailroom, numerous envelopes are brimming with $20 bills, $100 bills, and even larger denominations. Inside these envelopes are stacks of cash, right? As well as letters that is requesting prayers. These envelopes are being sent to Kenneth Copeland by his church members, asking Kenneth to pray for them. But his church members may feel betrayed after realizing that Kenneth Copeland doesn't even read their letters. Feel betrayed after realizing that Kenneth Copeland.
I don't even like to laugh at people, right? But do you think this brother right here, this granddad, is reading any of those letters? Let alone even praying for you. He's praying you give him that money, that's for sure.
And doesn't even read their letters. According to an employee,
how much of this mail and correspondence they see and or pray over?
0%.
In fact, these letters would be sent back to these naive church members to give this letter the look that it was personalized, that it was from a real person.
In fact, the ministry recently bought a new high-tech printer, which according to the manufacturer, gives Copeland a finished document that looks 100% personalized.
Amen.
They think when they get that letter back that someone has actually prayed.
Is that misleading?
They don't understand that that was actually just processed into a computer.
Do you think that that is misleading?
I worked there for 6 months.
Nathan Boutwell says he, not Copeland, read the prison ministry prayer requests.
There was no actual human contact with that letter besides my eyes, but that's okay. He gets 10,000 letters a week. But admit that. Don't imply that you read these personally when you don't.
Hallelujah. He said the former employee.
Yeah, again, right? I know there are people that are holy and, well, yeah, of course, right? But why don't you just pray to God and donate to charity and help the world out rather than basically praying to this guy? Because if you're giving him money to pray for you, that means you see him as like a higher power in a way, and that's wrong, in my opinion.
Employees we spoke to also say their spirits sank after learning Kenneth and Gloria have little, if any, contact with their faithful followers.
That's the one time I saw the man was at the Christmas party.
I was in an elevator with Gloria once.
And they had little, if any, contact with their 500 employees.
At one prayer rally at a public park, some interviewers would decide to slip past Kenneth Copeland's security to ask him a very uncomfortable question. Kenneth would first smile, then this smile will quickly turn into a frown after being asked if he was the one actually reading these letters.
Do you personally pray over your prayer requests that you get? Do you personally pray over those? Do you ever see them?
Oh, yes.
You do? When do you see them? When do you see your prayer requests?
Well, that is between me and my partners.
After these interviewers pressed down on Copeland some more, he'd later tell them that, in fact, it was a team that he had reading over these letters.
Do you ever see those prayer requests? Do you ever see them? Do you ever touch them? Do you ever read them?
Yes, I do.
But from what we just heard from the employee,
how much of this mail and correspondence they see and or pray over?
0%.
So who do we really believe here? I personally wouldn't believe a preacher that's dressing from his head to toe in luxury fashion, pastors in designer fashion.
It looks like this. See that go? See on them shoes? Get a shot of this, boys. Get close. Come on, man. Look, I paid a fortune for them things. Suck in there, man. See that go?
What are they?
Some of y'all got that in your teeth.
They like Louboutins. I don't know what they are, bro.
Okay. Gold is very, very expensive.
As said in the Bible, Jesus Christ himself barely had any clothes. Heck, he barely had a place to sleep, right? But some pastors can't relate to this, right? There's some pastors blinging in designers from their head to toe. Here is Pastor Mike Todd in some $700 off-white sneaker boots. Here is Pastor Robert Madu in his $2,000 designer shoes. Here's Pastor Darius Daniels in some $900 Fendi sweaters. Here's Pastor Lusco rocking a $3,000 Saint Laurent.
Look, even the clothes is not that bad. I'll be honest, the clothes is not that bad. If they want to drip out, let them drip out. Honestly, the clothes is not that bad. But $54 million jet, that's a different conversation.
Jacket. Here's Pastor Chandler with a $3,000 shoe on his feet. And lastly, this is Pastor Toby with his entire outfit costing over $1 million. Which leads me to my next point. Pastor Toby, the man behind Salvation's Anointed Proclaimers Church, SPAC Nation. This pastor is one heck of a character, right? When you imagine this...
I remember for a long time, Pastor Toby had the UK on a swivel, literally. Like, everyone was saying he was legit, everything, right? And I hope he really was. But a lot of those proceedings were definitely going towards spending. Naturally, that's what it would be. You know, you're a pastor, you come and you you speak to a church and you pray and, all of that stuff, right? Naturally, donations most likely will be going to him. Maybe a few would go to charities and things, hopefully, but the majority will be going to him.
London-based pastor. The first picture to pop into your mind is that of a flamboyant man, right? You see him posing in this $1,000 design fashion in his church members, and with his church members emulating his style, exuding fashion forwardness, pink, with all of them transforming the church into a literal fashion show. You see this pastor bopping out of buildings into his Ferrari, him partying, spraying bills of cash on musicians. You also see him buying the women of his church $30,000 Birkin bags.
Logan's very nice. He bought me this terrific gift just completely out of the blue. Is that so? Totally unexpected. It's called a Birkin bag.
A Birkin bag? Oh my God. A Birkin bag?
You've heard of it?
Of course. That's a very nice purse.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't use it.
Oh no, a Birkin bag is meant to be used and seen.
I had no idea.
They even say this pastor is the pastor with more drip than rappers.
Good morning, everyone. Short time. Sorry, man. I'm just joking. Church time. Jesus time. So I dressed simple this morning. This is an LV jacket, the only one in UK. I'm married. An LV top and LV sandals, trainers. This is interesting. I've never seen this chain in my life until 2 days ago, and it's called Cuba. It's called Cuban. Never worn a chain in my life, but first time. This is a new AP. Christian Watches gave me this, and I don't know the name of these ones, but they are part of the accessory. Yeah, it gets better. I think I need the Nation Family ring.
I think, right, so what I truly believe, of course, naturally in business, the people you're buying from don't really care where you get money from. They're not going to put you through an audit. They're not going to say, where did this money come from? None of that. They're just going to take the money. So as long as you're paying them, that's all that matters, honestly.
Yeah, isn't it? And some grills.
Do you think these are the signs of the end times? Like, should we be worried here or should we not fear? But speaking of fear, wait till you hear about the fake miracle preachers. In Africa, a pastor claimed to raise a man from the dead.
He was in a mortuary. This is a brother. And this is a landlord. And you, who are you? Family members.
It's the mother of the wife.
Come here. This is the wife.
Yes.
Come here.
Guys, look at his mouth. Do you see his mouth?
This is the wife. Okay.
His mouth is open.
Romosete. Jesus. Celebrate Jesus.
We glorify
Celebrate Jesus.
Jesus.
Hello, Elliot. Elliot.
Jesus.
Lift your hands. Lift your hands.
My good God.
Barabasa tabasa. Zete.
Man of is commanding life.
Rise up! Yes! Come on!
Hey!
This news circulated throughout all of Africa, right? People watched, people liked, people shared.
What did I just watch? Shut! Wake up!
Shared it everywhere, right? After this man would be raised, they would serve him some steak and some rice, probably because he hadn't eaten in days.
The God of all Fluco
fire.
But not only 3 days after this man was raised from the dead, the funeral parlors, the place where they bought the coffin, they would call the police department and say that this miracle was all fake. An advocate from these parlors said people from the church approached the parlors on 3 separate occasions to buy a coffin. Even the hearse driver, the man who was driving the dead man to church, said he heard the man kicking in the back. Imagine you were driving a dead man to his funeral and you hear kicking in the back. I would immediately rip my hair out, rip my clothes off, and dash into the woods. They must have been terrified. And what might even terrify you even more than this is the pastor who was sued for spraying roach spray on the face of his church members. Instead of him naming this stunt a death wish, this man would name this stunt a miracle, saying that it'll heal them of all their sickness. But what baffles me about this whole thing is the people saying that it'll heal them.
You're joking me. Roach spray, cockroach spray to heal wounds on your face. Man, it's so sad because these people are preying on people's desperation and preying on, you know, the desperation of people, man. It's sad. It's sad. These people actually do need help. They need medical attention and they do need God. They need to pray to God. They do. But this is not the way.
Of all their sickness. But what baffles me about this whole thing is the people that lined up to be sprayed with the roach spray, right? But this gets worse. There were the women that were bathing their women congregation trying to relieve their sexual desires, all in front of a church. Then there was the pastor who walked on the bodies of his church members, claiming that this would bless them.
We are blessed. We are blessed.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my.
And how could we forget about the petrol pastor? This pastor was making his audience drink petrol, having them under the illusion that it blessed their pockets. And the worst of this, many of his church members lined up one after the other to come and drink petrol for a sort of miracle. And you could probably already tell. There's even more. There was one time that same pastor commanded his church to begin eating grass. And immediately you'd see all of the members of his church drop to the floor.
Oh my. Oh my gosh. No. I didn't know it can get worse. I tried to tell myself it wasn't going to get worse, but it did. I was thinking, okay, someone was raised from a coffin. Fair enough. Another person was getting stepped on the floor. Fair enough. Another person was drinking petrol. Fair enough. But to send your whole church outside to start eating grass like a rabbit, that's where we draw the line.
With all of them beginning to eat mulch. And the crazy part about this was that many of them did this, right? They all dropped to the floor, ate grass, digested it like they were some type of farm animal. Then you probably seen this clip. There was that one pastor who failed miserably after trying to defend how he spent his ministry funds.
There's a series of documents that total almost $50,000 to limo land. In 2013 and 14. You have to answer yes. And
yes.
Okay. What was that for?
That was to cut the Mercedes into a limo.
In June of 2013, there's over $6,000 worth of charges for the Disney Resort Hotel in Anaheim, California. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And did you go?
Yes, I was there.
It's honestly crazy, right? And just like those fake miracles, a miraculous man would wave his sweater and thousands would fall. This would be the miraculous story of Benny Hinn. This guy, Benny Hinn, was a miraculous worker.
Cancer! All the pain is gone in his chest!
We break it in the name of the Lord.
After that, we're squaring up, bro. There's no way you're gonna come and touch my face like that, bro. I'm push. It's not even a touch. Like, it's not even like a touch. Boom. Those guys don't even look like they're trying to catch anyone, I'll be honest. I think they're just, one day, you know, God forbid, one day, say someone just goes all the way back, no one catches them. Cut. Back of their head. Dangerous.
Doing these miracles at World Healing Center's church, it looked like Benny truly had some power in his hands.
He was in a fire when he was 3. It caused traumatic symptoms. He could not speak correctly.
The lady's giving a commentary. You know, like when you're in a football match and say, he's about to score. Goal, 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 goal. She's literally talking about the problems that they've had. Part of the singing.
Stuttered for 13 years.
Whoa. Bring him up.
I mean, if you were watching Benny at a time when he was on TV, it looked like WWE. But just in church, Benny would perform all sorts of miracles. He'd wave his sweater one time, and all of his church would fall to the ground.
Take it! Take it! Take it! Take it!
But these miracles were also fake. In fact, Benny's hen...
Wait.
But these miracles were also fake. In fact, Benny's...
No, go back.
But...
Take it! Take it! Take it!
Where's the no pause? This lady, that lady had a delayed fall.
But these miracles were also fake. In fact, Benny's hen's closest circle, his nephew, came out and exposed them. The story of Kasti Hen.
You know what the track record shows? That men like my uncle, they are devouring people.
That was Kasti Hen. He was in Benny's immediate circle, and he recalls life with his rich uncle, right? He recalls how they lived with church money. Life was as lavish as anyone would imagine. Every car we ever drove was nothing short of luxury. We drove Mercedes, Benzes, Bentleys, Maseratis, and BMWs. At one point, we had a Ferrari F430 from a business deal with Ministry Associates. I'll never forget driving it with my friends around Orange County while my dad was away on a trip. It was like those movies in which the spoiled rich kids do whatever they want because their parents are powerful. But problem was that I was the son of a preacher, and our lives were an embarrassment to the gospel. Every hotel suite was prime minister, presidential, or royal. We flew on private Gulfstream jets that were paid for by ministry's donations, lived in multiple million-dollar homes, ate at the best restaurants, and went on shopping sprees to the finest stores around.
Yeah, the responsibility, if I'm speaking just frankly, is to look really good, look really blessed, sell the narrative, make all the money, and say, look at my life. If you give to this, if you follow it, if you obey it, and if you do what I say, God will do it for you too.
They're literally selling like a MLM, basically, like an MLM or like a course. Well, if you do this, if you pray, if you give money for no apparent reason, you'll see the same results I have, when they're seeing the results by you paying them.
If God is speaking to you to sow $1,000 seeds tonight.
So how did Kasti Hen turn from his ways, right? What happened? The senior pastor of the church gave me a John MacArthur commentary, and in the midst of my study, I broke down in tears, repenting of my sin and committing to preach the true gospel.
And I remember it weighing on my conscience, and I'm not saying that I'm no less a sinner than anyone else. Believe me, I'm not at all.
I'm truly happy for Kasti that he changed his life around. But for the guys that don't, yikes. hell is really hot. The conclusion. Shout out to the pastors that's actually preaching the true gospel. But these pastors are pastors who appear like sheep but are really wolves. You know, remember, Jesus never chased wealth on earth. Like I said earlier, he didn't even have a place to sleep, right? And there were even times where, you know, homeless. That dude, he was homeless at times, right? His miracles too, they were actually real, right? And he worried about the words of his father only. And, you know, money is cool to live on earth, but when you really take your last breath, was it really all that important? You know, money stops mattering. This is why Solomon's life lesson in the Bible is one of my favorites. He lived as a king and ruled Israel for years. He was a very, very wealthy man. So wealthy that in today's time, his wealth is still estimated to be $2.1 trillion, right? Wow. That's like 10 times of Elon's wealth. Wow. I think. In the book he wrote called Ecclesiastes, right, he talks about the depressing and sad realization of money and how money does not truly matter. And what mattered was following God. You know, money didn't contribute to his happiness, and it got him the nice things he wanted. And even those nice things couldn't make him happy, you know. So he became sad, depressed, and, you know, he died depressed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn post notifications on.
Shout out to Tunde, man. Tunde, keep doing your thing, my brother. Don't let them slow you down, bro. Amazing, amazing video once again. This is a video by Tunde. Let's drop him a subscribe and a like as well. I actually watched quite a few of his videos. They've actually been very, very good. So let's go.